one-on-one with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno, different week around here, so I want to start with your first impressions on Ruben. The way he works, his training methods, his coaching staff. How were the first impressions? Obviously good. It's still the beginning. We didn't have many training sessions yet, but obviously you can see already what's about how much intensity he wants to put in every training session. He does want to have the same intensity in every exercise as a game day. So it's something that everyone has to be aware of, and he doesn't want anyone to break down and just slow it down. But then him and his staff are really, really open, really strict, but at the same time, really, really open. And everyone feels that can talk with them and have a word with them. Now it's about getting to the game and winning games. In his first interview to the club, he said that against Ipswich, we will have an idea of what he wants to implement here. From the practices you've had these first few days, how much change can fans expect in this first match against Ipswich? I know it's early days, but no, obviously he's a new manager with different ideas, with different methods, so he's going to change things. But at the end of the day, it's about winning the game, and I think obviously he wants to implement the way he wants to play and the way he was doing his things. And I think as a player, you always have to be aware of that, because even sometimes having the same manager, he wants to change and improve things, and this time we changed manager, and when we knew that different things will happen, because no manager in the world works in the same way. Of course, there's a lot of excitement as well with Ruben's arrival. To these fans who are very excited and waiting for changes, how much management do they have to do in terms of expectations and especially patience? Expectations are really high at this every time, and patience is something that doesn't work in football. Not only me, but I think also the staff is aware that they came to one of the biggest clubs in the world. They know the expectation is going to be high. Some people will doubt, others will think that he will come and do everything straight away and be brilliant. So he knows what people are expecting from him. We as players know what is about playing for Man United. The expectations, the pressure and everything. We just have to deal with that. You know both clubs really well, of course, Sporting and Man United. How do you feel the challenges that Ruben faced at Sporting prepared him to take over Man United? Because it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. The levels of pressure is just different. Obviously, Sporting is a big club in Portugal, but at the same time, it doesn't have the same attention as Man United worldwide. I think the manager is aware of that. He knows that he had a lot of pressure at Sporting because Sporting was many years without winning a trophy. Then he got that trophy back to the club. Then it was 2 years where he didn't win. So pressure came on again and he won the league. So I think pressure is always there. It changes by the dimension of the club or the size of the club or how far everything you do goes. At Man United, it goes very far. So he's pretty aware that the job is pretty the same. He's winning games, winning trophies. So with a little bit more attention sometimes, from what you're saying, it seems like the communication has been very good with him since he arrived in these first few days. Even if, not all players were here, he's the type of manager who really speaks a lot to the players. I think communication was one of the key things for him at Sporting. Obviously now it needs to change. It's going to be the barrier of the language, even if he speaks perfectly English. Obviously it's easier for us to explain ourselves in Portuguese than in another language, but I think communication was part of his success, and I think he's really good at that. I think it's going to be a big part for us here at the club too, because he's aware that communication, because media-wise the club is massive, he's going to have to communicate also with the media, but with the players, he's been really good in these first few days. It's really direct. What he wants is what he demands. And we just have to follow the rules. Again, you've watched a lot of his Sporting playing. Do you feel like you kind of got a head start in his ideas? How much do you think you can benefit from that? And, even help with all the games you watched? It depends, because obviously I don't know everything he was doing at the club. I don't know the way he was training and everything. I was watching the games. I know a lot of movements that the players were doing, a lot of the times that they were playing more wide, more inside. But as the manager said to us, it's going to be games where he wants us to play more through the middle, some games more towards the outside, some games he's going to press in a certain way, other games in another way. Even myself, I have to adapt and understand everything he wants. Obviously, I know some of the things, but I just want to improve myself to be better every day. How much adapting do you feel your role will take, especially with the link up with the striker? Because there's been so much analysis on the way Sporting plays and Amorim's ideas. I don't know. It depends where I'm going to play. It depends on the players that I'm going to play in some positions, because everything changes by the player that is playing there. I have to adapt myself to one type of winger, one type of striker, one type of midfielder. I need to understand their strengths. What's the best pass for them? If he's into feet, if he's into space. For myself as a player, I'm just about to adapt as a player I have by my side or in front of me. Of course, there's a lot of talk about the possibility of playing with a back three. We don't know for sure. It's still early days. It's still first trainings. But how much do you feel this could impact, especially the midfield? Because there's been so much talk around the midfield and everything that's been happening in this area of the pitch. I don't know. That depends on the way that the manager wants to play, if he wants to play with a back three or not. It's his ideas. We just have to get into his ideas and do the best we can. Obviously, I think in the past we did it also like building up with a back three most of the time. So it was not a clear back three, but also it was not a static one. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Then a new manager comes in with different ideas. It could be that he has different tactics for us. So we have to expect to see it on Sunday. What is the captain's role when a new manager arrives? It's the same as when it was another manager here. I have to do exactly the same as I was doing, obviously trying to help the staff if there's any need of that. It's to push everyone to get on board with the coaching staff, with the new ideas, to make everyone understand that we're going to go in a different way now, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good way. Everyone is expecting to be the good one, and we have to be the ones more excited for that. Good luck on Sunday. Thank you very much. Reporters in a real spin because they weren't expecting that from Mo Salah. We were talking earlier, Jamie, you said this very rarely happens, that he speaks to reporters after the game. Are we really to believe that there has not been conversations? There's not been an offer from Liverpool for their iconic player, Mo Salah? Of course there's been discussions. Yeah, right now there's obviously a big difference in the valuation. What Mo Salah and his agent value themselves out, whether that's financially or in terms of length of contract, to what Liverpool do. So the reason Liverpool wouldn't have offered a contract yet is because Mo Salah will turn it down. So they're still in talks. Maybe I'm desperate for them to meet in the middle, but I must say I am very disappointed with Mo Salah. Why? That interview last night after the game, and it comes out today. Liverpool have got Real Madrid midweek, and they've got Manchester City at the weekend. That's the story for Liverpool right now. And Mo Salah, we're all quite aware, certainly the local reporters are in Liverpool, that in the 7 years he's been at the football club, he's stopped in the mix zone twice, which is absolutely fine. But he decided to stop, but for the third time away at Southampton on the back of winning Liverpool the game and putting that out. Now, the most important thing for Liverpool Football Club this season is not the future of Mo Salah. It's not the future of Virgil van Dijk, and it's not the future of Trent Alexander-Arnold. The most important thing is Liverpool winning the Premier League. That is more important than any of those players. And if he continues to put comments out, or his agent keeps putting cryptic tweets out, that's selfish. That's thinking about themselves and not the football club. But is that not because he is an icon? He is the guy that has helped Liverpool to great success, titles, European success as well. And perhaps he feels like he's not getting the love from his club right now. Well, he's certainly getting the love from me and Liverpool supporters, and they're in talks. That is part of football. I would say Mo Salah is in the top 5 players to ever play for Liverpool Football Club. I would go Steven Gerrard, Kenny Dalglish, Graham Souness, Ian Rush, and I'd put Mo Salah in 5th position. That's how highly I rate him. That's how special this guy is. So give him what he wants, surely. No, it's not about giving somebody what they want. But what I would say is, I hope Mo Salah and the other two players who were involved in this, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, feel that this club will fall apart if they ever move on. Steven Gerrard left the football club, the next manager came in and won the league. Steven Gerrard didn't win the league, Jurgen Klopp won the league with a new team. Kenny Dalglish, at that time Liverpool's greatest ever player, when he stopped playing, Peter Beardsley came in and was part of probably the greatest footballing team we've ever seen in a red shirt in 1988. Graham Souness left. Liverpool won the double for the first time in their history 2 years later in 1986. Ian Rush moved on. After him came John Aldridge, and then later when Ian Rush moved on, Robbie Fowler came. And Salah, would we miss him if he moved on? Of course you would. But I can assure you, Liverpool will move on. Liverpool will move on. Salah remains an important target of the Saudi Pro League. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Nolan Baker here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today, guys, we have many things to mention. The new plan of Ruben Amorim, one sign he wants to do, but also Manchester City plans, Mo Salah big statement, also more to share, Kevin De Bruyne, Arda Güler. Let's jump into it together. So guys, I wanted to start today's video by mentioning one of the big bombs of the last 24 hours, Mo Salah speaking after the Southampton game. Again, a fantastic game by Mo Salah, a fantastic game by Liverpool. Really credits to Arne Slot. It's underrated what he's doing, but first experience in the Premier League, coming after a legend of the game like Jurgen Klopp, and doing what he's doing in terms of numbers in Champions League and in Premier League. Congratulations to Arne Slot and to Mo Salah, who keeps scoring goals, who keeps being, in my personal opinion, one of the most underrated players in the world. And it's already years that we see this sort of situation in the media around Mo Salah, who deserves more and more. But Mo Salah, after the games, goes to the media and says, "I am disappointed. There is still no bid from Liverpool in terms of new contract proposal. We know the contract expires at the end of the season." And Mo Salah also says, "I love the fans, I love the club, I love everything about Liverpool, but there is no proposal. So it's not in my hands. I am probably more out than in." This is the statement from Mo Salah. What can we say about that? There are a few points to mention, guys. When Mo Salah says that there is no bid from Liverpool, doesn't mean that there are no discussions between Liverpool and Mo Salah. So formally, an official bid arrives when you make sure you are aligned, you are on the same page on the financials of a contract, in this case, a new contract at the club. But talks, Liverpool sources insist, took place with Mo Salah, and Liverpool still plan to have a discussion with Mo Salah to understand what they can do and what they want to do together on both sides. Club financially and player financially, technical point of view, project. So they still plan to speak and talk again to Mo Salah in the next weeks and potentially months. So Liverpool feel they are still there. Then on Mo Salah, we also have to mention that he's always been, since this big project in Saudi started, one of the top targets of the Saudi Pro League. And Mo Salah remains an important target of the Saudi Pro League. Internally, those who decide at the Saudi Pro League still consider Mo Salah one of the big names for the future. So in case he can't agree a new deal with Liverpool from Saudi, they are still there. What? Let me repeat again. Liverpool feel they have still a chance to continue with Salah, and they will try to make it happen. But at the moment, as Mo Salah said, still nothing agreed, and so Saudi is something that we should keep in mind. But of course, it's going to be up to Liverpool and Mo Salah. Staying in England, and Manchester City, from what I'm hearing, Man City are prepared to attack the market for a new midfielder. There is a very strong, concrete possibility to see Manchester City entering into the January transfer window after a quiet summer. Savino from Girona, Gundogan back from Barcelona. Now, after the injury of Rodri, many injuries they are suffering, Man City have started some contacts for midfielders. So, in that position, we could expect Manchester City to do something for Pep Guardiola in a complicated moment for the club in the January transfer window. Contacts have started. Man City have started calling around to ask for the situation of several players. So, as soon as we have the top target name, we will keep you posted on that. But Manchester City are working on the midfield for the January transfer window. When we mention Manchester City, we have to say also something on Kevin De Bruyne, because Kevin spoke ahead of the Champions League game against Feyenoord in a press conference next to Pep Guardiola. Pep said, "I don't know, but what I know on the contract situation of De Bruyne, similar to Mo Salah, out of contract in 2025. Pep said, I'm sure Kevin De Bruyne wants to play here when he's fit. So, what he meant is something like Kevin De Bruyne is going to push at his best to be in good conditions as soon as possible for Manchester City, and then decide." Then, a few minutes later, Kevin De Bruyne confirms that there are no talks ongoing with Manchester City now. So, it's not something that is going to be decided now. Why? Because De Bruyne was fully focused till now to be fit to return as soon as possible. Now, Kevin De Bruyne is back. Kevin De Bruyne feels good. And so, let's see what's going to happen in these discussions with Manchester City. For Kevin De Bruyne, there are two options to consider, of course. One option is staying at Manchester City, extending the contract. But again, in that case, nothing decided. The other option brings two different opportunities. One is Saudi, also in this case. So not only for Mo Salah, but also Kevin De Bruyne remains in the list of the Saudi dealmakers. And MLS, also because from MLS, there was some call to ask about the situation of Kevin De Bruyne. So this is going to be also a personal decision, whether he wants to continue in Europe, whether he wants to stay at Manchester City, or try something different in Saudi or in MLS. But for sure, for Kevin De Bruyne, there could be several options. Then, guys, staying in Manchester, but we go on the right side. You remember what I told you last week? Now, I am in the position to confirm once again that Manchester United will sign a new left-back. Left wing-back, let's call him, as you prefer. Now, Ruben Amorim is playing with the back three, but Man United wants to go for a proper left-back. Ruben Amorim is very happy with Diogo Dalot in terms of player, professional, can play several positions, top leader, big, professional, so very happy with Diogo Dalot, but they need a player who can cover that position on a regular basis. Obviously, Diogo Dalot can play also on the right. That's his position, actually. He's helping on the left, and so a new player in that position, a left-back, remains a top priority. And from what I'm hearing, even after the Ipswich game, the message from Ruben Amorim to Manchester United management is we need a player in that position in 2025. Could be January, could be summer, based on opportunities, based on several factors. But Manchester United want to go for a player in that position. I already mentioned to you Milos Kawach, the left-back from Bournemouth, but there are also other candidates. From what I'm hearing, we know that Manchester United are closely monitoring what happens between Real Madrid and Alphonso Davies. Real Madrid are there, but still nothing signed. In any case, Manchester United have several candidates, not only Alphonso Davies and Milos Kawach, who are players. They have been monitoring. So Manchester United in 2025 will bring in a new left-back. They are working on that already now. And then guys, the final point, I want to tell you that in the last 3-4 weeks when the player was basically not playing, two clubs, not from Spain, from other countries, but in Europe, reached out to Real Madrid, for Real Madrid to reach out to Real Madrid. Now with that range of attrition, guess what they did? They gave him several weeks of several £100,000 of salary in cups, in refunds the same weekend as this one when the player was breaking the contract. In this general case, also from Spain, for Arda Güler on loan, Real Madrid always said no. Now, once again, already 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Real Madrid keep rejecting any approach for Arda Güler. No interest in loaning him out, no interest in selling him, believing that they signed a fantastic talent with Arda Güler, so no interest in moving forward in discussions or talks for Arda Güler. He's staying at Real Madrid. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories from Arda Güler to Man United left back. Which player should they sign? Also, Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah, What should they do? What's your prediction? And which midfielder would you sign for Manchester City? Let me know, guys, here in comments. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Team on an unbelievable run is Liverpool. Let's talk about the big game to come tomorrow. But first of all, let's talk about the leaders, Maresca. They're 8 points clear. They're currently the favourites to win the title. The Optist supercomputer, I know you love the Optist supercomputer, gives Liverpool a 74.8% chance of winning the title. I mean, only once a team had a bigger lead after 12 games, and that was Manchester United, clear by 9, who went on to win the title in the 93-94 season. So, have we reached the stage? And if Liverpool do win against City tomorrow, where it is theirs to lose in terms of the title, I would say Man City are out the equation. If they went and won this game, and I just think that's a big call because you guys normally, you say you never discount City, but if they lose tomorrow, you're ruling them out. Well, that would be 11 points, 12 games gone. If Man City went and won their next 15 football matches, which at the moment you can't see them doing as we've seen over the years, especially without Roderick, they still wouldn't be above Liverpool. Liverpool would have to lose 4 of their next 15 football matches. I mean, that's not good form for a team. That's the middle of the table of probably a 7th or 8th team's record, losing 4. So for me, I think it's got to a stage with Man City here. It's a must-not-lose football match. And then I say Man City are back in it, and I say that because that lead is a massive difference. You know, that 8 points to 11, you got to remember that 11's 12 points because their goal difference is massive as well. It's a big football match. But I sat on the other day and I was like, the Liverpool-Real Madrid game to me was an absolutely nothing football match. This is their bread and butter this weekend. And it looks like, but not a nothing football match in terms of what it does for that growing belief that this season could be special with Canaries out. Yeah, we're going to come on to that. You know, one injury out, Bradley's touch and go whether he plays or not. If there's one play you didn't want to miss in this game, I would have arrested Van Dijk. I'd have arrested Van Dijk. I'd have arrested him. I'd have arrested Salah. I'd have arrested Gravenbach. I'd have done the spying of the team for me. Or Gomez. Who do you reckon comes in, Clinton? It's one or the other. I think it will have to be Gomez. I think it'll be Gomez. But then, if Bradley's not fit and Trent was only on the bench, but Trent should be fit because he didn't come on, then he might have to play Gomez at right back. But whoever it is, the partnership with Konate and Van Dijk, well, we spoke about it last week. It's brilliant. It's one of the best partnerships. So, Highland in the centre forward, he fancies playing against everyone, but you're looking at those two and thinking, I'm in a battle here with those. But Gomez, he's a defender, but he just hasn't had a lot of football matches. So it's a huge blow to lose someone like Konate because he's been outstanding. But if Gomez plays, and I like Gomez, good player, Highland will go and play on Konate. He will stay away from Van Dijk. When both of them were playing, who do you go and play on? I mean, they're both as strong. I was going to say, look at those stats. When it is that central defense that we're talking about right now, Konate alongside Van Dijk, first in terms of goal conceded, only 8 all season, 6 clean sheets. Wherever you look, the figures are unbelievable. And tomorrow against the City side, yes, we'll come on to, faltering massively at the moment. That's a huge hole in that defense, isn't it? Yeah. Because I think we spoke about the partnership between those two and saying how strong they've been. I think the start of this season, you look back to the halftime, since Konate came into that side, they just haven't looked back. And it's not just the two central defenders, it's how they defend as a team. The way that they'll press from the front, the midfield will go. I think Gravenberch and McAllister have been brilliant in front, whereas one will go, one will cover. And they've got a really good partnership. So Merce talked about the spine of the team. They've got the spine of the team absolutely spot on. So it will be a huge call to bring in Kwanzaa after what had happened at the Ipswich game. But then maybe he'll look at it as an opportunity and go, do you know what? I'm going to show exactly what I can do. The positive is you've still got Van Dijk there, that real sort of leader at the back that will help whoever goes in alongside them. But without a doubt, it's certainly going to be impactful, you would say, because of the partnership and the way that we've praised them. And when you look at them stats, how good they've been defensively all season. Manchester United, Everton, the other 130 game, Chelsea at home to Aston Villa. At Stamford Bridge, the first of our Super Sunday double. We can hear from head coach Enzo Maresca now, as he's quoted as saying, when addressing the excellent form of Nicholas Jackson. He's doing very well with us since we start. He has been open-minded in terms of we ask him and we require sometimes different things. And this, as I said, open-minded, he wants to learn, and he's doing very well. Not only in terms of numbers, goal and assist, he's doing well the way we want to play off the ball when we press. It's always aggressive, and we are very happy with him. He's obviously still quite raw. He's only 23, but what do you see as his ceiling? How good can he be? He's already good. He's already good enough for us, but like all the players, there are many things that he can do better, for sure. Also, sometimes this season happened that he had 1 vs 1 chances that he missed. That can happen. So he can improve that area. He can be a bit more brave on the ball when we need him to link with him, to play with him. But overall, there are all areas that he's already improving a lot. Enzo Fernandes with man of the match on Saturday, playing alongside Caicedo. Obviously, you've used Caicedo and Lavia together as well. Do you know what your best midfield two is? I know perfectly that they are all good. So, as I said many times, it depends a little bit on the game plan. We use Romeo or Moi or Enzo in the Conference League. We use also Cesare Casade that is doing well. So it depends a little bit on the game plan. I know this is a problem for all Chelsea coaches for the last few years, but how easy is it to keep them all happy, knowing you're not going to play Saturday, Enzo will be playing, you're not going to be playing, Moises will be playing. It's never easy. It's the bad part for all the managers when you have to leave out players. But the good thing is that they can see clearly that they are not the same 11 playing every game. We saw in the last game against Leicester, Benoit Badia, Chile, did fantastic. He was not playing a lot in the Premier League. Enzo did fantastic. João Felix did fantastic. And this shows exactly the way we want to work, that we need all of them. I suppose for a coach, the dream is that it makes them more hungry. If they're left out of the team, then they just want to prove you wrong and get into the next team. Exactly. This is also one of the targets that they can compete with each other in the right way. So the other day, Romeo was on the bench. That means that Romeo will be on the bench the next game. The same with like Malagusto, the Pedro Neto that was out. The good thing is that when we give them minutes, they are ready and they get the chance. We're 12 games into the season now. Chelsea are third. Are you in a title race? No, I said many times, and I really like the pressure. I really like to say, yes, we are there. But we are not there. We are not there. I said Arsenal is ahead of us. City is ahead of us. Liverpool is showing that they are ahead of us. So the important thing is that we improve game after game. I mean, it's a really important period for Rashford. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 seasons ago, we had that great season where he scored 30 goals, and then last season, just 8 in all competitions. It's real disappointing. He started well under the last manager, Erik ten Hag, and then faded slightly. So what are we going to see here? Now, what was interesting against Ipswich is he started as a centre-forward despite Amorim having Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee available. And we can see from his numbers, his actual record as a striker, Rashford, is not too bad. He's got 10 goals in 24 games in the games where he started in that central striker role. Now, as a winger, it's a little bit different. He's played much more games and he has scored more goals, but the goal rate is a little bit, well, it's clearly not as good. He actually creates just as many as a centre forward than he does as a winger. And the XG is a lot higher too. He's getting better high quality chances, and the chances created, it's not too dissimilar, is it? 94, 1.02. So yeah, Marcus Rashford isn't too bad as a centre forward. According to the numbers, it's just a question of whether that's his long-term role under Ruben Amorim. Because Amorim's saying it wasn't in his best position. What else did I guess Sunday show what else did Guest Sunday show? It wasn't a great game for Manchester United, was it? They were under the cosh quite a lot from Ipswich. So what we saw from the heat map is that Rashford was actually forced back to his own goal quite a bit. Actually, the biggest area he was actually in his own half near the center circle, but he was sort of drifting out to the left. So that might give a lot of encouragement that maybe that central role for Marcus Rashford is the one for him. But he does have Rasmus Højlund and he does have Joshua Zirkzee available. Obviously, centre forward is sort of like a big theme under Ruben Amorim, because look at what he did with Victor Gyökeres, for example, and developed him as a young player. Now, Rashford's not young anymore, but now we sort of have to see if Rashford is going to have a long-term career at Manchester United, because he's already had a good career, but he needs to now show he deserves to be there. He needs to sort of hit the ground running under Ruben Amorim. Yeah, well, just one goal for United on Sunday. Obviously, Rashford, after just 81 seconds, is finding the net the biggest issue to resolve. I mean, how do you resolve a problem like that? Well, exactly. All you have to do is look at the numbers. Just 13 goals, despite creating 18 expected goals. It's the second worst underachievement in the Premier League after Crystal Palace, who are not having a good season themselves. And that's mainly because they've got such a poor shot conversion, especially the likes of Højlund and Zirkzee, who've started the seasons in centre-forward roles, and they miss a lot of big chances as well. It's not as if they don't get enough chances, or there's a creativity issue. It is purely a shooting issue. So, Rashford got off to a great start against Ipswich, but it's just a question of whether he can get that consistency to change all these numbers. How key could Bruno Fernandes be to trying to change the numbers? Well, he is a good creative outlet, but he's another player who's having to face with a position change. We heard from him just there talking about having to be in the front three, and he played in the front three against Ipswich. And look, the numbers were pretty good. He created more chances than anyone in the game. He's second to final third passes, high up on the expected assist, and also pressed pretty well as well. And in the middle third, because Manchester United were playing with a slightly lower block. But yeah, he's sort of playing in the front three, but he is being pushed inside because Amad Diallo is playing more as a winger. Now at Sporting Lisbon, Ruben Amorim had a player called Pedro Goncalves, who is one of the most creative players in the Portuguese top flight. And he was playing in the Bruno Fernandes role that he wants to emulate. Exactly. He's just trying to almost like copy and paste, because we know Amorim is very wedded to that 3-4-2-1, 3-4-3 formation. So the early signs for Bruno Fernandes are good, but they're two big home games against Bodo Glimt and Everton to sort of improve these attacking numbers. Yeah, see how he goes this week.